Ta-da. Hello and welcome to today's broadcast. This is a home for pro-democracy conversations, jokes at the expense of Republicans to help build consensus around non-corrupt government and pro-public interest governance, that type of thing. So I'm working on my xylophone playing. Thank you for putting up with me, and hello to any replay viewers. My name's Davina. I'm from Australia, and I am a relatively recent migrant to the United States. And only in America is gun culture so prevalent that there have already been 36 mass shootings this year to date, even though we're only 23 days into the new year. Guns, if you didn't know already, or injuries caused by guns, people wielding overly available guns, are now the leading killer of American children and teenagers. Gun suicides and homicides are increasing and gun crime is up. According to Shannon Watts, who is the leader of and founder of Mums Demand Action, a grassroots organization to address the flood of gun violence that does not only directly impact people, secondarily traumatize families and communities, but also emotionally traumatizes the entirety of America. And only when you leave the United States and go to a country where guns are not as prolifically sold and prolifically bought, but people can go about their daily lives without that awareness on some level of their consciousness that today could be the day that a massacre occurs around them, or to one of their loved ones. And that is a weight on our shoulders that we carry because we live here. And it's not necessary. The key to solving it is to persuade more white people to stop voting for Republicans who are in some kind of a mutual, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back type of pact with the gun lobbying front organization, the NRA, at the expense of our children's emotional health and occasionally for those that directly become victims of gun violence. Where was that sentence going? Anyway, many people are victimized. You know this, I know this. The only way to bring more people on board is to keep exposing the harm done by either becoming overly cynical about the state of affairs or buying into the state of affairs, which is too many Republicans with influence over governance at both a federal and a state level. Hey, look, I don't hate Republicans across time in history because chronologically speaking, the Republican Party was headed at one point by Abraham Lincoln, who was relatively brave for his time in terms of addressing the scourge of immoral enrichment through slavery, through the practice of enslavement and deriving income for individuals and deriving geopolitical influence at a national level through profiteering from industries that involved forced and enslaved labor and the deprivation of liberty of individuals and the deprivation of family intactness for those Black Americans who were kidnapped and put in to the American system of profiteering from the forced enslavement of others. So putting that to the side for the moment, I bring it up only because it's important to incorporate truthful teaching about American history, given the push from Republicans, conservatives, people on the right, to hide American history, to pretend that it's too costly in terms of could make people feel bad. Hey, better that we feel bad and work through those feelings than we all deal with the emotional harm and economic fallout and public health fallout of trying to suppress that knowledge and hide it and start banning books and intimidating teachers out of teaching accurate history, truthful, balanced history in favor of pretending that white supremacy is beneficial or critical to America and must be maintained. Because that's what all the panic about CRT and teaching history does to Americans. It reinforces the idea that we can't be positive. We can't work together if we're going to be honest and admit things that have actually happened, and that those things that happened have a legacy for us to still contend with. So let's look at the screen, because part of this show is taking input from Twitter, where some, even though it's now owned by a right-wing conservative billionaire fruitcake, Elon Musk, there's still a lot of potent thinkers making important contributions that we can share. So look, if you yourself wish to join Mums Demand Action and volunteer with them, you can text READY to 64433. I think I'm probably pretty ready to do that myself, actually. How many mass shootings will it take before more of us do the same? Let's get on board with it. Let's join with common-minded people where we can, because we can find proactive ways of dealing with this problem. We don't have to say our hands are tied and that we're helpless. We're not helpless. Mike Pence is in the news just because he's got documents in his garage as well from his time as vice president underneath Donald Trump, illustrating that there may be some laxity in the system of classifying documents and people who leave administrations in the presidential and vice presidential office. Because yes, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Mike Pence have all recently been found to have documents in their homes. The main significant difference so far is that Trump has been the only one saying, yeah, well, they're mine, suing the FBI to return documents and the National Archives to return documents to him, saying they're his. He had every right to take them. Also, and contradictorily, that they were planted. Also, irrelevantly, that he declassified them with his mind, just by wanting that outcome to happen, that he didn't have to follow processes because he was the all-powerful president and normal constitutional limits don't apply to him. Presidential procedures don't apply to him either. And just generally proving that a bunch of Republican supporters will swallow almost any argument, such is their appetite to gulp down whatever offerings Trump churns up. All they need is just a regular supply so that they can keep spinning the wheels in their brain along that clickety-clack of a Republican grievance track. We're white people, so we're the real targets of racism. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack. Donald Trump's just persecuted. He's just like us. And if we don't stand up for him, he won't stand up for us. And people will continue to do mean things to us, like call us racists. Clickety-clack. Those wheels have to keep spinning. If they lose momentum, then those people might have some time and space to actually feel their feelings or engage with the idea of why are my children learning more history than I did at school, and contradicting me when I say that the Civil War was about states' rights, or asking follow-up questions like states' rights to do what exactly? To profit from slavery? To have legalized slavery? Is that what the states' rights battle was about? Did those states want to secede from the Union because they were annoyed that the Union showed signs of wanting to make slavery illegal, and they could not bear with the idea of losing their so-called property in that way? All right, well, that's all from me for today. I thank anyone with the time, patience, and interest for tuning in. Take care. I will talk another time about lead just now being the subject of attention because it's present in some baby foods, apparently. I think it's an important joke to tell about Republicans, to say, look how long till Republicans come out in favor of lead in baby food. Because if the FDA is proposing new limits on lead in baby food, such is the contrarian energy in the Republican Party, they've lately been taking any agency recommendations and saying, oh, how government overreach, how dare liberals try and regulate whether or not we have asthma-inducing gas stoves or standards for gas stoves being built in new homes in the future. So it's making fun of that contrarian energy, which is an important way of building consensus amongst people who aren't Republicans or who could be tempted to vote Republican or Democrat, i.e. swing voters. Humor is an important strategy in shaping those political margins so that we get effective pro-social governance that benefits all of us. And we're not just so easily manipulated by, say, wealthy billionaires who buy themselves media networks and platforms like Fox News, even to a degree CNN and Newsmax, OAN, Sinclair Media, all that type of guff that manipulates people into buying into culture wars and getting easily distracted from the actual need for good governance and responsible policy ideas and practices, and not just, tax breaks and subsidies for the wealthy at everyone else's expense. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Talk again soon. Bye.